Welcome to episode 297 of the Whatnauts Review Show, where every week we pick a story and we talk about it. It's going to be a movie or a TV series, an anime or a manga or a comic book or an audio drama, all kinds of entertainment. We watch it, read it, or listen to it, and then we come back here and talk about it. My name is Melissa Wilkinson, and I am joined, as always, by Kyle Springer.
Hello, Melissa. How are you? How's your weekend been?
It's been great. I went to an art fair.
Oh, that sounds fun.
I bought you one art.
Oh,
Watch your mail.
wow. I got a gift.
Yes,
Ah,
you
it's
do.
the mail that never fails. Makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail.
No.
Cool. Is this the same art fair that you went to a couple years ago when we watched Dr. Phoebes?
Yes.
Phoebes?
Yes.
That one? Ah. I have my Melissa lore straight.
It's called Let Them Eat Art. It's in Maplewood, Missouri, every summer, the same weekend as Bastille Day.
Cool.
So it happens about the same time every year. And yes, several years ago, I met an artist who did a beautiful portrait of Vincent Price, and I asked them for their favorite Vincent Price recommendations. And that's how we got to watching The Abominable Dr. Phoebes on one episode of the show.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Glad you got to go back to that again. That was
It's
a
my
lot
fave.
of fun, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, thank you for the gift. I will certainly be looking out for that. I'm sure I will have it on an episode of the Captain's Log to be like, look at what Melissa got me. So, good stuff. I just got back from a little business trip. Had to go back
Right.
to Virginia during the week. So I've just kind of been relaxing at home this weekend. Started season 2 of Twin Peaks. Started playing a video game with my partner that I've played before. She has not. Life is Strange: True Colors.
Okay.
Because they announced a new Life is Strange game coming out in like a month or two. So I was like, we should play the one that came out before it. So there you go. That's what I've been up to. We're also kind of in the market for, well, not yet in the market. We are thinking about buying a new car. We need to start researching, doing all of that stuff. Just seeing what our options are. Should we go with an electric? Should we go with a hybrid? Should we go with a giant Ford F-150? I don't know, but
Once you have this car, do you intend to learn to drive this car?
maybe not. We'll see.
Okay.
Who knows? But no, the car that we have, it's just kind of about that time. It's starting to be a little more hassle than maybe is worth it. So, what can you do? Well, I would say
Speaking
we're
of
not here
cars.
to. Yeah, we would say we're not here to talk about cars and all that stuff, but we are.
We're
Melissa,
really here to talk about cars.
What are we talking about today?
In honor of the Paris Olympics this summer, we are spending our 2 bi-weekly episodes for the month of July talking about French cinema. And today we are discussing the 2021 body horror movie, Titane.
Titane. I've been saying Titane.
I've heard Titane. I've heard a lot of pronunciations, but mostly Titane. And it's not a word that anybody actually says in the movie. Like, it's not anyone's name.
It could actually just be Titan AE, and no one would know, right? Like,
Stealth sequel.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, French movie month. It's gonna be an interesting one because we will swing the opposite direction next time too. More on that at the end of the podcast. But yeah, when we decided to pick this movie, it was one that we were both like hesitantly excited about because I think we had heard good things or heard weird things. I didn't know what to expect. I had heard some good things that I might possibly like this movie.
Mm.
I remember seeing like the movie poster, that like brightly lit, kind of
Mm.
neon colored poster. Um, and I just never got around to really checking it out or seeing what it was about. Uh, so Melissa, you pitched this to me as I think this is a movie about a girl who fucks a car.
And has a car baby. Yes.
Yeah, it has a car baby. Melissa, you are 100% right.
I Here's the thing. That is correct. I will tell you right now, folks, those events happen in the film. But I had no idea what the rest of the film was, and I was truly shocked at the rest of its contents.
Yeah. If you know nothing about this besides what we just said, I think you will still be shocked
Uh-huh.
at this. It is a pretty shocking movie. Might be a little abrasive for some just because of the content, the body
Mm.
horror that's in there,
Mm.
stuff like that. It was really funny. My partner was watching it with me and was like, oh no, oh god, what is happening? And I
Yep.
was just like, are you okay? I don't think I've heard you like squirm and be like this squeamish. Like, you don't have to watch this if you don't want to.
Uh-huh.
She was like, no, I'm interested. I like this, but oh my god.
Yeah. You have to see how this thing ends once you get that initial premise of woman is pregnant by
Oh
car.
yeah, yeah. It feels like a movie that what we just said would maybe be the climax of the
Uh-huh.
movie. And in a sense, it kind of is, but also the movie starts so quickly with that premise. It hits that, and it just kind of moves on. Like it starts out with almost like an erotic horror, and then very quickly moves to, no, crime thriller is what this is.
Yes.
And then it's like,
Yes.
well, maybe not. Maybe it's like maybe some kind of queer trans romance kind of
Mhm.
narrative story, something, I don't know, but that's not really it either. And then it goes back to like body horror at the end here, to just like, what did I just watch?
Right. I don't want to say more. I do not want us to give more of a plot synopsis here in the pre-spoiler break
Sure.
because I was delighted to go on this wild ride where the thing I knew about the movie was so strange to begin with. And at the end of the day, that's barely it.
Yeah.
I loved being so shocked by everything else that happens along the way of this journey.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And it's a pretty quick movie. I think it's only like an hour and 40 minutes. So,
Mm,
if this
it's on
is one that
Hulu,
is, yes. So if this is one that is
accessible.
piquing your interest, yeah, I say check it out. It's a pretty. It's not easy breezy, but it's a short movie.
Not much of an investment. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, indeed, indeed. Um, but yeah, I don't know really what else to say. Like, I liked the performances. There were
I
some good
I
stuff.
do want to say the director's name is, oh boy, Julia DeCournau, and the main actress, Agathe Roussel,
Hmm.
this was her first acting gig. She was
Mm,
a model, and I heard also a journalist, so multi-talented.
wow,
But
yeah,
yes, for this to be your first acting debut is really remarkable.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. If that's the case, then yeah, bravo. um, Good stuff with that. Well, let's see here. I guess if we don't want to say too much more, um, I will insert housekeeping right here. Again, I've been having some technical difficulties with OBS, so I'm kind of having to do some things manually on the back end in post production. So we will take a quick break for housekeeping right here, right now. And when we come back, we will dive more in depth to Titane, Titane, Titan AE, whatever it
Titan
is.
AE.
Okay, enough with that joke. We will be right back.
Thank you so much for checking out this podcast. We hope you're enjoying it. If you didn't know, we make multiple different shows here at the Whatnauts, and a lot of hard work goes into making them, so we would love it if you check them all out. But none of this is possible without your support. Head over to patreon.com/thewhatnauts and you can get access to over 40 hours of exclusive content, including our Patreon first podcast, The Pilots Club, when you sign up at our $3 tier. Of course, there is a free version of the Pilots Club available, but episodes are exclusive to our Patreon for 2 years before they hit the free feeds. If you're interested in buying merch, we have shirts, hoodies, mugs, and more for sale over at thewhatnauts.com/store. Another great way to help us out is by subscribing and leaving a nice rating and review on your podcasting app of choice. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for video versions of the show, trailer reactions, and live streams. And lastly, you can always find out more information about the shows we make on our website, thewhatnauts.com.
And we are back. Once again, a big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. We love you a lot. Let's see, over on the Pilots Club, this month we put out an episode on Phineas and Ferb, which I think I am now on episode like 10 or 11 of season 1. So I'm still not super far in, but I've continued to watch it.
It gets to become something really special. I am not kidding when I say Phineas and Ferb is one of the funniest shows I've ever seen, for kids or adults.
Yeah, it was a good one. We had a blast talking about that. And then over on the free version of the Pilots Club, we released our episode on the 2011 Wonder Woman pilot, which is truly a spectacle.
Or perhaps the absence of a spectacle, because the special effects are not finished.
Special effects are not finished. The plot is all over the place. I don't know if they really knew what they wanted to do with that show yet. It is a weird one, but it is an infamous one, to say the least. So go check that out. That has been released over on the free version of the Pilots Club. Right over here on the review show, last episode, we did seasons 1 and 2 of The Bear. That was a lot of fun. I know Melissa and I had talked about discussing season 3. I know we have not discussed if we were going to do that today or,
I can do it today.
Or not. So be on the lookout for that in the near future. And then over on the Captain's Log, we recently had our trivia night, our annual trivia night. Ignacio got to join us for that one, as he usually does, and we had a blast. Got some good Olympics trivia. Melissa, you had some questions in there that I feel like I should have known, even though I did not.
Well, now you do.
There were certain soda related questions that I nailed. So
that's your expertise.
Yeah, exactly. So we had a good time with that. Go check out our trivia night. But yeah, that is about housekeeping for right now. So I say we get into spoilers. I have that
first
thing up there. Yes.
That's good. I'm happy that's working. I want to tell you what I thought this movie was.
Yes,
beyond
please.
Woman Pregnant by Car. I don't know how I imagined the plot of this movie so wrongly. I don't know what led me there. After having seen the actual film, I'm really confused. So I thought this was a woman. I knew woman fucks a car, has a car baby. But I thought she also was married and had a husband and already had another son. And the movie was mostly about the husband noticing these changes in his wife and realizing
weird relationship
that's not
with
my
the car. Yeah.
Right. That's not my baby. That's the car's baby. And maybe also worrying, what if there are car STDs and I catch one?
You're right.
How is my son going to feel when he has a half sibling who's part car? And none of that is in here remotely. So I don't know what I was
When-
imagining. I
when-
kind of
when-
wish that was an additional film.
Right, like the worry in the father's mind of like when he grows up, will he be built Tonka tough, or will he be like a little matchbox car that everyone just pushes around, right?
Just like it being an interpersonal like drama of relationships and adultery. But just the other party is a car and it's never spoken of. It's just a car.
Right. I was kind of the same mind. Not necessarily that like clear, like you had a clear vision of like this is what I kind
Yeah.
of think this is. I was also expecting like yeah, maybe the relationship with the car grows over time.
It's a
And
one night stand.
by
That
the
car is not
end,
a
it's
present
yeah.
father.
Yeah, no, it's just this shocking event that happens almost immediately. You don't really know or understand why, but it happens. And then yeah, at the it kind of happens again at the end. But then yeah, just body horror of this seemingly metallic baby inside of her. It's like, is she giving birth to a car? What is happening here? Is this what happens at the factories that I just don't know about?
They have car mothers.
Right? Yeah. Who knows?
This is how you will purchase a new car is you will adopt it from its car mother.
Yeah. But yeah, I was kind of shocked to see that no, this happens pretty quickly
Yeah.
into the movie, that she has sex with this car. And then pretty shortly after that, yeah, she realizes that she is pregnant
Uh-huh.
and is confused and shocked, but not like, only person I've
yeah.
had sex with is this car. I've tried other people, but it didn't go so well. I'm also a serial
Right.
killer, which was like the next shocking thing of like, she's
Yes.
like, what is happening?
Yeah, did not know she also just randomly murdered people.
Yeah. And yeah, that was a straight, like the first one I get, like creepy guy after
Sure.
some car show, like he's too like that one I like. Murder is bad, but I get it.
Murder
right?
is bad.
Guys are creeps. And yeah, and then it's like you hear on the news that there's been some other murders recently. She has no reaction to it. Then she's almost
well,
at
Not recently necessarily. There are anniversary notices of like these children went missing
10
this many
ago,
years
yeah.
ago. Like, yeah, on the 10-year anniversary, we are reopening the cases. We are making another push to find these kids, which we never learned that much about. But it does make you wonder if
We learned about one of
this
them.
is something, right? This is something she might have been at for a long time.
Yes, yeah, that is definitely a thought that that has happened. Of like, oh, has she been doing this? Because there is so the movie does actually start with the car accident when she is younger.
Yes.
And in the accident has to have a metal plate put into her head, and as a
Just
result,
like Pete and Pete's mom.
sure, fun fact. And the doctors basically tell the father, hey, keep an eye on her behavior. If there's anything, let us know. So yeah, when the murders start happening, when these like news flashes of like, hey, 10-year anniversary of missing child, like us as the viewer, we start to think, does the father know? Is this her? Does what's happening here? Is this a whole big secret? Does the father just not care? I don't know, but yeah, and then we get the whole like when she's older, she has sex with the car, she kills the dude,
Yada yada yada.
yeah, yada yada
Standard
yada.
stuff.
Just a Tuesday
Saves
night.
a cat.
And yeah, then like ends up also murdering like 4 or 5 other people all in a single night. And it's
Which is
just
a great sequence.
it's a great sequence because she's just annoyed. She's just like, ugh, how
So
many of you
mad.
are there in this house? Like, I
Right.
meant to do one. I didn't know there was anyone else in this house.
The chain of events is, God, every step of this movie is incredible, the way things escalate. She is an erotic dancer at a car show.
Yeah.
She is in the locker room taking a shower next to another woman. She drops the soap, she leans down, she catches her hair on this other woman's nipple piercing,
Yeah.
has to untangle it. Later, she tries to hook up with this woman, but is only obsessed with the metal nipple piercing. And this girl's like, there's other parts of me you can put your mouth on, you know. But no,
Yeah.
she's just, her name's Alexia, by the way. Her name is not Titane, like I thought it would be. Her name's Alexia. Alexia just keeps going down on that metal nipple piercing. Then she vomits.
Roughly, yeah. not just like sucking on a nipple softly or anything like that. Yeah, just like real rough.
There's no beings in the world except for Alexia and this little metal bar. Everything else has fallen away. Then she vomits. Then she takes a pregnancy test. She's like, dang, I'm car pregnant. I guess tells this girl she was hooking up with, or this girl she was hooking up with, like, can tell, oh, I think that's what's up with you. You're pregnant. Maybe she doesn't know. It was via a car.
Yeah.
Then she kills this girl. And they're in this big beach house where apparently there's a lot of different people hooking up. So, like,
Right.
somebody comes down the stairs, she kills that person. Somebody else comes down the stairs, she kills that person. And this nervous guy, like, steps out of the door to the bedroom and just asks, oh, somebody's in the bathroom. Okay. And then she turns and she's like, how many of you are in there? He's like, well, it's me and Jacques and then just like 4 other people.
Yeah. And she's just like, like, I hate this. Like, come on. I just want to go home.
Right. I love that this interrupts just what must have been a low-key fun party orgy. She's just to murder all of those poor originaires.
Yeah, it's just a wild sequence. There's some really gnarly kills in
there
this
are
too. They're like the film does a good job of showing the ones it can get away with, and you're still like, oh my god, but then also not showing certain ones that are really gruesome. But you still hear it, right? Which is just as bad. So
and
yeah,
then,
if you're into gore and stuff like that, there is some great stuff in here.
When people think it's weird that I like gory movies, I'm like, I don't care about the gore. What I like is special effects.
Sure, yeah.
If you like special effects, if you like stunt work, if you like prosthetics and cool makeup, this is what you can really come to this movie for that stuff and have a great time.
Yeah, indeed.
And now that she's killed multiple people at once, she's realizing, well, I can't go back to my normal life where I'm an exotic dancer who lives with my distant parents. I have to go on the run. And what she decides to do is she looks at these posters for these missing kids who would be approximately her age by now, I guess. And she looks at this little boy and is, I guess, thinking, well, I look enough like this little boy that if I really screw my face up and like shave all my hair off and hide under a big hoodie, people might think I'm this little boy who's been found.
See, I don't know if I agree with you on exactly that being her thought process. I think she sees them, and on the other side is her wanted poster, because there was one person that got away from her that night of her murderous thing. So there is now like an artist sketch of she kind of looked like this. And she's like, oh yeah, that's me, same outfit and everything. I need to change my appearance. And
yes.
It's not clear if she thought, like you had said, oh, I may be able to pull off that I'm one of these missing children, or it was just I just need to cut all my hair off, fuck
Hmm.
my nose up so no one can recognize me, like all of that stuff, right? She
Hmm.
also shaves off her
Yeah.
eyebrows to be a little more masculine, which is also just like a weird distracting detail, right?
Yes.
Of like they will
Yeah.
look at
Nobody's
that
gonna
and
focus on
not
the rest of your details. Yeah.
right, yeah. So I almost saw that as just like let me just obscure my face enough
Yeah.
that no one will recognize me. And that then launches us into this weird drama about a father who's a firefighter who lost his kid. The kid went missing. Later on in the film, we learned maybe the kid actually died in a fire, and the father just really
Hmm.
hasn't addressed
Yeah.
that, hasn't dealt with
It's
that. Um,
it is unclear. Yes.
and yeah, and so the father then sees her in this more like masculine appearance and is
Hmm.
like, that's it, that's my son.
Yeah.
And then we spend the next like I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes of this movie of him just being like, I don't care what anyone says, that's my son.
My son has not spoken a word to me. He gives no indications of care or remembrance for me
Yeah.
at all. But that's my boy. That's Adrian.
Yeah. Uh and this is the part that I thought was like maybe the like queer or trans
Mm.
narrative in this. It really feels like there's some themes of that in there. Um
Yes.
but it's also not ex- explicit on that. It's also
Hmm.
not like at the end of the day I don't think that's what this movie is. Um but it has this little bit in there, right? And I think
Yeah.
there is a really interesting scene as her name's Alexia, right? Um,
Yes.
when she is kind of struggling with her belly growing larger, it getting
Mm.
harder and harder for her to do this binding to kind of hide her
Mm.
chest and all of that stuff. And she sees a dress in one of the closets at the home, and she's kind of putting it on, trying it on, and has to hide in the closet because she also does not want the dad to know that, hey, I'm not actually your son. I'm just kind of
Right.
hiding
Yeah.
here.
She has this moment where it seems like maybe she's thinking, what's next after I escape from this place? Because I can't stay here forever. She's looking around.
Right.
She finds like what was the wife's old the wife isn't in the picture. We find out later that the wife left. Uh was one of her old dresses, maybe one of her old maternity dresses. And Lexia's like she doesn't have her bandages or anything on. She's trying this on like, oh, could this be me? Could this be like what I wear and what I look like when I get out of here? Right. And then the Vincent is the father's name. He comes in and she hides in the closet real quick and like puts like like a
A
pregnant
pillow,
actress in a
yeah.
TV show. Yeah, just I have a big pillow in front of me. You can't see my belly at all.
Yeah. But then the strange thing to me about that scene is after he finds her in the closet, um,
Mm.
pretty much immediately opens up like a family photo album,
Yeah.
and this was a picture of his son in that dress, right? In like a smaller version of that dress. Is that correct, or was that
Oh, I don't. I thought it was this.
was it the
Oh, my
wife?
son used. No, it is the son. I don't know. I don't remember if it was a smaller version of the dress. I don't think it was a
I
mommy and me dress. I think it was the same dress.
I thought it
But
was a smaller version of the dress,
I
and I think the father, in preparation for the son one day returning, bought or had made
perhaps.
a bigger version of
Oh,
that
that's
dress
true.
because that's something like he obviously had pictures of that, and
Yeah.
this
Oh.
was a moment. At least this is what I got out of that scene. This is a moment for the like confirming to the father that yes, this
Mm.
is my son. You found
Mm.
this dress that made that was of value to you when you were young. You recognized it, right? Even though that's not exactly what happened, it is this
Yeah.
like confirmation to him that like yes, you are the one. You are him.
Mm.
Um,
It's a sweet moment. And also very funny in just the strange escalation of events and how there is no way that Alexia can get out of this situation. Like, there is at no point where he becomes suspicious of her or tries to turn her away, which would then free her to try and find a better situation.
Yeah.
Like, she tries on this dress, he catches her wearing the dress, and just the incredible look of, oh, this is a dress that my son wore. You must be him.
Yeah.
Like, everything keeps lining up to, like, stick her in this situation, and she can't get out.
Yeah. And then as the other like firefighters under his command are kind of like put off a little bit, or just like, this is weird, but all right. There is one that does kind of finally realize,
Yes.
you're not who this guy says you are.
Yeah.
And he tries to approach him and be like, hey, this is a woman. This is not your son. The father just absolutely shuts it down and is like, you don't talk to me about that stuff. And this is like, I know I've said that this part kind of feels like this queer, maybe trans narrative. It's also maybe not, though, because the father is adamant that this is my son. And,
that's true.
Right, if this is a trans narrative, that may be seen in a more negative light of like, why aren't you accepting of who I actually am, right? But then also at the very end, when like he's been calling her by his son's name, when she's actually giving birth to this baby, she says, hey, my name is Alexia, and just immediately he starts calling her that. And so like there is that nice, like, he didn't fight it, he immediately accepted it, like, it just, there is some nice stuff like that. There is all this like pink lighting as in the firefighter scenes. Of course, there is at least here in the United States, there is the eroticism around firefighters, right, with their shirts off. They're all jacked and ripped, and they got these big long hoses and stuff like that, which then escalates to one night they're just having like a rowdy rough boy dance party, shirts off, just and yeah, it's just some big mosh pit, and then they put her on top of one of the fire trucks, and this whole scene was wild because as she gets up on the fire trucks, there's that gospel song that comes on, which was playing at in the start of the movie, in the car, all that stuff. So it's a weird transition of song, because it's like this Euro techno, just constant pounding, like, and it transitions to this very like soft Southern song. It's a gospel song, but as a former dancer, she kind of makes it this real sensual strip tease without it being a strip tease, right? She's not taking off her clothes, but she's doing all of these sexual moves as she starts like dancing more feminine and stuff like that, and all the guys are slowly starting to stop and like, what is happening? Why are you so good at this? Wait, you're a woman? What?
Who knows what's going through anybody's mind? This movie is, you get so little true glimpses into internal monologues and internal thoughts. There's a lot that's really mystifying.
It's mystifying to me because like they don't have a DJ in that scene, and that song is playing on the speakers. This is on someone's playlist.
Yeah.
And it just transitions to that song. It's not like, oh, play her favorite song, right? Like they you know the one, and it just happens to be that one, and then they're like, oh wait. Like, no, it's on like random, and it just comes on. It's like, what? Who had this on their party playlist?
We can accept sentient car has sex with woman pregnant by car. We all accept it. But the fact that this is what bothers you, and that I was really bothered that clearly she has like a metal husk in her stomach
Yeah.
and still can just use some standard ace bandages and like smush it into
Smush
her
it in.
abdomen to where it's
Mhm.
almost flat. Like, you can't do that. That's not physically possible. This I don't buy.
Yeah,
The f-
absolutely.
I want to talk about the firefighters because they
Sure.
feel very culty in that it's this
They
big
do.
compound kind of out in the country. Uh, it's all of these young men and this one, and just Vincent, who's this sort of like leader and father figure to all of them. And the one seems to hold his esteem in like very, very high regard and is like, I will be his favorite, like that has a stronger meaning than just I want to do well at my job
Right.
and have my boss like me. They're all out there isolated. They only seem to leave to go fight fires. They have these big shirtless dance parties. There's just weird energy around the whole firefighters camp.
It really is. Especially with like when he first brings Alexia to the firefighters and she has that like half haircut
Yeah.
thing, and he addresses them. He's basically like, I am your god. That makes my
Yes.
son your Jesus. Like,
Yes.
do whatever they say, even though they don't say anything. Right?
Right.
Like, just leave them alone. So yeah,
And
it's the
then
whole thing is
Vincent
strange.
is favoring Adrian. Like, Adrian just gets put in a firefighter's uniform and dragged along on all these calls. Like, they go to they take a wellness check from this older woman who's like, I think my son might have taken too many sleeping pills because he's not answering his phone. So they have to break down the door and go in there, and they find the son, and he is unconscious. And instead of having the like whoever the previous favorite boy of the firefighters was, Vincent's like, Adrian, you take this one. Adrian, my son will do it. And it's so funny to me. I don't know if other people are reading this movie as comedically as I did. Just, I killed all these people. People are looking for me. I gotta get out of here. I gotta disguise myself. Whoops, I kind of look like this man's son. Whoops, even when I put on different clothes, he's like, my son loved that dress. Now he's forcing me to do like mouth to mouth resuscitation on this strange man. And whoops, I did it. He's alive.
Yeah.
Just every it's things keep getting better. how much things keep getting better instead of getting worse is funny to me.
Yeah, it's
How this is not just once.
It's not even like better or worse, and it's not even like it doesn't even fit the out of the frying pan into the fire
Yes.
scenario, right? It's just it almost just feels like you're in a different movie every time something happens.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's fun to watch. It's interesting because you never know what's going to happen, and it's never what you expect. Yeah, and it's incredible. What did you
and
think
then when
of?
they go to
Go
I
ahead.
just want to say there's one more, which is when they go to fight this big fire, and the guy who is suspicious that Adrian is not Adrian. Adrian is somebody else. Like, Vincent, you're being tricked. That guy just blows up in the fire. Alexia doesn't even have to do anything to get him out of the picture.
Yeah.
It's just all these weird turns of fate that happen to work inexplicably in Alexia's favor for some reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Which, like, it really truly does feel like every one of these little small scenarios could be the part of a larger movie where it is like this whole movie could have been a movie about mistaken identity, right? And this one guy figures it out and is about to tell him, and then just miraculously to her case, the guy just explodes and she gets to live happily ever after. And we're just like, oh no, what? She made it. Wow, wild. but that's just like a 5-minute sequence, right? And we're just like, okay,
Mhm.
moving on.
Yep.
What did you think of this like father figure guy and the steroids he was taking? What do you think that was all
Mm.
about? Because we do get this scene where he seems like he's trying to do some kind of workout.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily seem like pull-ups or maybe just to hold himself up at a
Mhm.
certain height or to
Mhm.
get up above that thing. Either way, he's struggling despite taking
Yeah.
all of these steroids. What did you think of that?
It is an interesting twist, and I think it's telling that that is the first thing that Alexia actually says is when he gives himself a shot and then he's like, no, it's not enough. I'm going to give myself another shot. And then it's like, whoops, 2 shots was too many. 2 shots was too many. I'm going unconscious now. And he like calls Adrian, his son, in. And this is the first words that she actually speaks after being silent is, are you sick? Like with some genuine concern of, is this another thing I have to deal with? Are you unwell?
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Do
he
I have to
just
save
he
you
just takes
too?
them. Great. Uh it's an in a movie that is about shifting identities and shifting bodies and evolving and becoming more and changing what it means to be human or to be a man or a woman or anything.
Yeah,
It's another layer, another piece of that puzzle. And when he's in that fire and he briefly sees the image of this like little child huddled in like a cabinet burning, and you're not sure if that's a memory, like that's truly what happened to Adrian, and he's just been lying or severely in denial that that's what happened to Adrian, or if he truly has no idea what happened to Adrian and that's just a fear in his head. What
yeah.
if he was in a fire? What if I missed him?
Wasn't able
What
to
if he
save it.
burned
Yeah,
up? And if what if he died? What if I missed him? What if I wasn't strong enough? Like, is he
yes,
making himself stronger to be a better protector of others?
yeah. That's kind of what I took it as too. That like he just wants to be prepared in
Mm.
case he needs to save someone's life. Because he's taking these steroids, but he's not like massive like bodybuilder
No,
like he looks unhealthy kind of thing. Like
he's a moderately buff dad.
yeah, who's maybe a little on the older side. That's it.
Yes.
Um, he seems to be regulating it fairly well. But of course, we do
Hmm.
see him pass out. He does have all the bruises from all the injections and stuff like that. So it like he's kind of flirting with the edge, but he's also not being like, "But I must lift. I must continue to
Hmm.
get bigger and
Hmm.
and stronger." Um, but I still don't think he's where he's at, and I'm even wondering if because the scene where we see him working out, there's not really any other workout equipment that's truly visible. There might be some.
Right.
And so I like this movie feels like there's a lot to read between the lines
Hmm.
with or stuff that you could maybe connect or maybe it went down like this based on this one scene but they never really say. So I almost wonder if there was a part of the house that like burned down that he wasn't able to check that maybe his
Mm.
kid was
Hmm.
up there and he was just like wasn't strong enough to like pull himself up or something like that. But again, we don't know. There's no
No clue.
answer on that.
That is a good point that it doesn't seem like for a guy who's taking these steroids, why wouldn't he have more exercise equipment? Why does he just have the one pull-up bar? And all the other firefighters are conspicuously absent. It's
Hmm.
like, where do they live? Are there bunks nearby? Where do they live? Because it's strange that sometimes there's 40 guys around and sometimes there's 0 guys around.
Yeah.
Like he's just there by himself. When Alexia goes into labor just in the garage at the end of the movie, not a soul around. Where are they?
Right. Yeah. I'm wondering also if it is kind of like a volunteer firefighter force that's also an orphanage, because none of these guys are talking about their parents or like, right,
No.
but like you said, it does have this like culty
And it is
vibe.
right, and it is all young men,
Yeah.
the same age group. There's not a woman, and there's also not. There's like Vincent, and then all people who would be the age of his son. There's not like a single 35-year-old in the group.
Yeah. It's just a weird vibe all around. All around.
Another thing that my brain kept chewing on was I wasn't sure if I was supposed to read that Vincent maybe had an inappropriate relationship with his son. Because, like, when Alexia comes home the first night, and just immediately, like, crawls into the bed, like, I can't let this guy see any of me. He comes in and he's like, take off, you're not sleeping in your clothes. Take off your clothes or I'll take them off for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, am I supposed to read it that way? Or am I supposed to read it like this man wants to give his son clean clothes? Or like maybe have a look at his son's body, not for inappropriate reasons, but to see like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Like, are you injured? Are you hurt? And, like he gives Adrian a lot of physical affection, but I also know like physical affection is just more common in Europe than it is in America. There's things
Sure.
like when he's yelling, I would never let anybody hurt you. I would kill them. I would kill myself if I ever hurt you. Like he's living with some sort of shame over what happened with his son. And then you see the glimpse of like the child burning in the fire and you're like, is that it? Or is that all? I wasn't exactly sure. I did not know if I was overthinking things or if this was a purposeful, another
Yeah.
part of the mystery, another thing that's vague, another corner you don't see.
I didn't take that initial like take off your clothes or I'll take them off
Okay.
for you as any kind of weird sexual thing. But also I'm a guy. I'm not a woman, so I can absolutely see how that would be creepy and not a good scenario to be in. But like I think he's also just stuck at last time I saw my kid, he was 7 years old. So sometimes I would have to
Yeah.
help him undress or pick out a new
Mm-hmm.
outfit
Like,
and stuff like that.
yeah,
So
like there's an
I think he's
exhausted kid who
just
just flops in bed and you're like, okay, kid,
yeah.
I'll just like tug your pajama pants off. I have to do the laundry. You're a little kiddo who's like rolling around in mud and stuff all day. Like
I
truly,
think he's just
your clothes are
overexcited
dirty.
to
Don't get
be
in the bed with those clothes.
dad mode
That's
right
true.
now.
Yeah.
And then later on, when he does end up, when she comes into his room, kind of at the end, there, and she is completely naked and is basically at the end of like, I can't hide this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm about to have this weird car baby thing.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of goes to him for comfort, and it starts with her just kind of laying down next to him and putting her head like on his stomach. She ends up like kissing it once or twice, and then she does try to make a move on him, and he immediately backs off out of that. So that would be my only like true counterpoint. But also,
But then I was also like, is
the
this
illusion
no,
is
I have been
gone.
given a second chance. I must do it right this time. I
Sure.
think
Yeah.
abusive pasts have just been very common in recent film, and I'm attuned to like, is this another one of those? Am I supposed to look out for this theme? Is this part of what you're doing here? It would be nice to have a break from that. I'd be happy if it wasn't intentional.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, it's unclear. But then yeah, he helps to deliver this baby. Which then it seems to have like a metal spine.
Yeah, metal spine and like a metal plate in its head where Alexia has a metal plate.
Yeah. There's some wild body horror with the pregnancy and her belly ripping open. And
I love how she just keeps leaking oil.
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna have to
Like,
take it into Jiffy Lube, fix it up a little bit.
here's here's the thing about cars is that you put oil in them. They don't produce oil the way like a body
But they
produces
right,
milk.
but they can leak oil. You can have an
They
oil
can.
leak, you
You can
know?
put oil in them. It's very funny after she has sex with the car the first time, and the next morning you see her lying in bed with just like a big black oil stain on her underwear.
Yeah. Yeah.
This whole thing is so preposterous. I loved it.
We
What
haven't
a wild
even
time.
mentioned the scene where she has like sad angry sex with the fire truck.
It can't work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the fire truck is nothing compared to, it's not the size of the truck, it's how the truck is used.
Yeah, or
She misses
the way I read that scene was she still had sex. She's still climaxed and all of that stuff, but like was just sad and upset at herself
right.
for doing because she just immediately starts like crying and like visibly angry and upset.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
This
but yeah,
can't solve
there's
my
all of that.
problems.
Let's go back a little bit. Let's talk about the mom. What did you think about the mom? Because the mom, like you said, is out of the picture initially, but does
Yes.
come back for a little bit.
Yes. Again, when she shows up, she asks Adrian, "Would you like to go away, just me and you?" Which again made me wonder, like, is there any dark stuff in this family's past? But then when she does walk in on Alexia as she is, like unbandaged, she's like no sympathy or questions. She's just like, look, whatever you've gotten yourself into, I'm not a part of this. Just take care of him. He's a sad old man. Bye.
Yeah, it feels like in multiple ways she is done with her ex-husband shit, right?
Yeah.
And that could be everything from how he treated the son to how he reacted after the son went missing or died, his non-acceptance of his possible death,
Yeah.
to these steroids, to this weird cultish firefighting force or orphanage, maybe, I don't know. There's
I
just
love
so
the
much
idea
stuff
of it. I love an all orphan firefighting force. I need that to be a comic book. I need that to be something.
I feel like that'd be a manga, right
This is
alongside Fire Force.
I was thinking of Batman Elseworlds, where he just keeps
yeah.
adopting more orphans. But like, what if the Waynes died in a fire and it's just all firefighting Batman?
But he keeps like taking in these orphans that all like are the same age, just and, like 1 year he adopts a 10-year-old, and then the next year he adopts an 11-year-old, so now he has two 11-year-olds, and next right 2 years down the road he adopts a 13-year-old. Now they're all 13 years old, right? Because
they all turn 26 at the same time.
Maybe
they all
my
leave
son.
his healthcare plan at the same time.
Yeah.
They have a rager of a joint 21st birthday party for like 12 orphan firefighting boys.
Good Lord. But yeah, when the mom finally walks in and sees, like, as she probably suspected, like, what is he up to now? What does he mean he found him, right? Like, she's because when she first lays eyes on her, she's not happy. She's not elated, but she's also not like squinting her eyes like, I don't know, you don't look like my son. She's just kind of there and just being like, okay, so you think that's our son? Cool. I guess. Sure, right? Like she's just that there's really no reaction. And it seems like she's staying around at least for a couple days to maybe kind of make sure, check things out, everything's okay, you know. But then, walks in on her unbandaged and stuff and concedes like, oh no, this is a pregnant woman. The whole scenario is beyond my control. And at that, she's like, all right, I'm leaving. Fuck you, but also take care of him. I see that he needs this, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of this, but he needs this. So you take care of him. And she's just like,
It
okay,
is-
sure, I guess.
It is odd that this woman who was a mother, that, you know, we don't know the situation with the son. Perhaps she did not give birth to him, but you would imagine that a mother would look at this pregnant woman and have some level of empathy or concern, or at the very least questions. But she has none of that. She only has, all the empathy goes as it exists to Vincent. Like, just take care of him. All right,
Yeah.
bye.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stay to finish lunch. I'm outta here.
Yeah, I don't think there's much else to say on her, because I don't think she really has that much of an impact on the story or anything like that. But I'm wondering if those words were playing in Alexia's head when she does kind of at the end there, like, try to make out with him and like, I'm wondering if she's thinking like, well, I can take care of him and I need him to take care of me because I'm about to have this baby. What if we just make this the family unit, right? What if I'm the matriarch
that car
of
drove
this?
off. He's not in the picture anymore. He's a deadbeat car dad. You'll be the baby's new father.
Right, yeah.
Fire truck can't do it.
he has work. He's too busy. But yeah, like, I'm wondering if something like that was playing more in her head of like, I think he could take better care of me, not as his son, but as a wife or a partner kind of scenario.
Yeah.
But again, not explicitly mentioned.
Yeah, maybe let's do something more honest, more equal.
Right, yeah.
This baby needs a father figure more than it needs a grandpa figure. Who knows? It's also interesting that we have very little concept of time.
Yeah.
Like, the pregnancy seems to happen very fast, and there's no reason that a car would need to take 9 whole months. I don't know how long it takes to make a car on the factory floor.
Sure, yeah.
Less than
Who
that, I
knows?
imagine.
But I guess that's the difference between making a car and growing a car, right?
How long does it take to grow a car? So you don't have the natural progression of a typical 100% human pregnancy to judge this against. So, like, time feels really abstract in this film. You have no idea if did this take 10 days or did this take 10 months start to finish?
Yeah. She does have other injuries that I feel like stay around. I know he eventually helped to set her broken nose, but even then her nose is kind of smashed and indented after that. Her eyebrows never grow back, or at least we never see her shaving them off. So this could all be happening within the course of 3 days, a week, right? It seems like she's reusing that same Ace bandage wrap.
I know.
thing.
It's so grody. Find some laundry time just to yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, the concept of time in this is really strange. So sometimes, when a woman is pregnant, obviously she can feel her child kick and stuff like that. And sometimes if she will let you put her hand up to her belly, you can sometimes feel that too. There's a scene in here where it seems like a part of little car baby is poking out, is starting to press up against her belly in a weird way, but it's not a human shape. It's not like, oh, that's a hand or that's a face or that's a foot. It is kind of square. It is kind of rectangular. So is this the side view mirror that can, like, fold in and out? Is this the is
I would love
is
I
this
would
the
love
car
if
door
this-
handle? Like, what is this?
I wish the baby that we saw at the end, which we see very briefly and we just see from the back, and it looks like a normal human baby with, like, a metallic spine and head plate. but I wish it had rear view mirrors instead of ears. I wish it just had lights for eyes. I wish it just had one extremely out of place, clearly you inherited that from your father car attribute.
Yeah.
Just a tailpipe. Just a tailpipe
has
sticking out
the
of a little baby butt.
Ford F-150 birthmark on his shoulder or something, right? Yeah, or like I was even thinking like, will the shape of the spine look like a tire? Like is it's gonna be something like that? Yeah,
My
is it
baby
gonna
was
be?
born round.
Yeah, is it gonna be a weird color or shape or anything like that?
You know,
Because when
it also
they
has
first
flames painted on it, like the flames painted on the car. The baby is born
cool air
customized.
intake, yeah. Then what's his name? Exhibit walks out. Hey, we heard you like cars, so we put a car in your baby so that you could have a baby car all the time.
The baby also has 2 TVs and subwoofers.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you boop its nose, you'll hear the OnStar.
Just go. My baby came pre-installed with Sirius XM radio.
3 months free.
I have to take him in for his 3-month checkup to subscribe to Sirius XM radio.
Amazing. Do you take him to a pediatrician or Jiffy Lube? Choosy moms choose Jiffy Lube, right?
I need a full comedy about what I need the comedic premise of this movie fully. There's so many questions.
The 3 men
There's
and
so
a
much to
baby
explore.
with the car, baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What if you had a baby and the baby was a car? I've never seen the Seth Rogen picture Knocked Up, but I want that. But replace Seth Rogen with just a Volvo.
Oh, great stuff. Yeah, I think the last thing I will say in terms of like plot and character themes and stuff like that is when this baby is born, I think it is a healing moment for
Yes.
the firefighter dad too, because the last thing he says is I'm here, right? And it is the father just kind of reassuring the child, that kind of stuff, but also it feels like in a roundabout way that he has then gotten to save this child. He gets a second chance at fatherhood now, and I think he realizes that and is being like, no, this is my son, right? So I liked that stuff. I think because of that, it does feel like it has a bit of resolution.
Yes.
But also, you're still left with the what the fuck did I just watch kind of thing, and then it ends, credits, right? And it's just like, huh, okay, that was a movie. Yeah,
It sure
now
was.
I have to go drive my car back home from the movie theater. That's gonna be awkward. Yeah, it's just yeah. It's a weird movie. It's bizarre.
It's very weird. I'm very happy we watched this because it is so much weirder than I even thought it was.
Yeah. Did you think she was going to give birth to an actual like little small car?
I knew it would be a hybrid. I was hoping for more of a 50-50 hybrid instead of like 90% baby, 10% car. As far as we can see, at least.
I was pretty certain it was going to be like a miniature car, like those little Jeeps you can get at like Walmart or Toys R Us back in the day for your
Barbie
kids,
dream
right?
convertible.
Yeah, exactly. Because like when like there is as her belly is kind of ripping open in some of these more horrific scenes, you just see like chrome. It's just this metal, and when the baby is born, there's not that much chrome on the baby. Like obviously we said it has a
Right.
metallic spine and that metal plate on its head, but nothing that would have been like is that her womb? Is that a part of the baby? What is going on here? Like it's a weird thing that's happening to her. But yeah, because of like those small glimpses of like under the skin, it's just chrome. I was like, she's gonna give birth to like a Ford F-150, and it's just like she's
What if,
just gonna
or
be
a
nothing.
French
It's gonna
car?
be sure. It's gonna be some Alpine something
You know,
something.
I was gonna Google one. I'm like, of course you know a French car better than I know a
It's
French car.
gonna be a Renault. Yeah. They're like sport something. They're Alpine. Who knows what? But yeah, like I was also even thinking, like, will this not be a real birth? Will this almost be like will the child like consume the mother in the sense that
Yeah.
like will it break her open kind of thing? Like we've already seen some pretty gnarly stuff. Like
Right. Are we gonna have an alien situation on our
yes,
hands?
yeah. Good poll. Yeah. Yeah, this movie does not let you stop to be like, okay, I see where we're going here.
You
There's
never do.
nothing.
That's
Yeah.
true. You never see. You
Yeah.
only have seen when it's all over. You're like, okay, that's what it was doing.
Yep, indeed. Indeed. Um yeah, I like you mentioned this actress, this was her first performance. This was incredible. There was only one scene that I had to like avert my eyes, and that is when she is breaking her nose and
Mm.
realizes like like herself punching it won't do the trick, and so this is like looking at the edge of the bathroom sink, and I was just like, oh no, I can
Mm.
feel that.
It's
Like don't do
it's
that.
pretty gnarly.
Yeah, that was the only one that I had to like look away, which is not even the like goriest, but it's just like your nose is such a sensitive area that it's just like I can feel that before you even do it. Like, please no. So good stuff indeed. Good stuff indeed. Melissa, you
Are you ready
have.
for bingo?
I was gonna ask if you wanted to do this video that you sent me, the link to this.
Oh, I was gonna do this as part of my recommendations, but if you
Okay,
dying to talk about it now, we can. One of
I
my
say we should throw this in now. Yeah.
Okay. One of my recommendations was going to be on the improv comedy podcast Comedy Bang Bang. Performers Drew Tarver and Carl Tart have come on a couple times playing a country band called Memphis Kansas Breeze. And they sing these original songs, and all their songs are about trucks.
Yeah.
There's truck birthday party, truck prom dance, and you can find a video that's all three of these. But also, we're gonna link you to a video that's just the third of the songs. Human Skin Truck Baby, which is
Right.
just
Yeah.
the plot of this movie. Maybe this is why I was so confused about what this movie was, because I was thinking of this song where a man comes home and his wife is a truck, and the truck wife says, "I'm pregnant," and then she gives birth to a baby car out of her tailpipe.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You're my son. I love you."
Yeah. It's wild. I tried playing it. I don't know if the browser audio was going on there, so I'll put a small clip of it at the end of the podcast here because
I'll link it in the
it's
show
really
notes.
funny. Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff indeed. Yeah. That's the thing. Like in the moment, I feel like Titane is like it really is horrific. It is a thriller. It is this
Mm.
kind of wild ride, no pun intended. And it is yeah, but looking back on it, I think it's just it's silly, it's bizarre, like
Yeah.
it's easy to laugh about and be like, this is stupid. What did I just watch? I love it.
That's my favorite genre of movie, maybe. Movie that is not overtly a comedy, but is so preposterous that when you describe it to somebody else after watching it, you can't stop laughing.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let's move on to recommendations. This will be an
Bingo.
interesting one. Oh, yes. Sorry. Thank you. Bingo. Let me
Because we've
pull
got
up
some stuff to cross off.
bingo. Let's see here. Can I go back to this guy? Okay, bingo. Here's our bingo sheets pulled up on screen. Breaks into dance. I got that one.
Yes. Suddenly dancing.
Yeah.
Can I cross off cool step parent?
In terms of the dad.
In terms of Vincent adopting Car Baby at the very end.
Absolutely. I have that one too, so I'll mark that one off. There we go. Let's see. Award ceremony cow, arted to death. Red string conspiracy, reaction of animal, rubber suit monster. No, male protagonist takes his shirt off.
Oh yeah.
I don't
Or
know.
are you talking more about an action movie way where it's like Chris Hemsworth simply must show off his abs?
Right, from
Watch
like
him
Thor
go.
1 where he like rips off his shirt and she's just like, oh, hello, right?
Okay.
Like that is, it is the more like, here's the romantic male lead in looking sexy and dehydrated and all sorts of stuff, right? To really make those muscles pop. Yeah.
Dehydrated inside, oily on the outside
Yeah,
is how we like our men.
So I might leave that one off. Despite me having that one.
What about character who is overprotective about their car? Because we don't really get that necessarily.
I don't think so. They weren't overprotective. Though did we not get that with Planet of the Apes? There was the one dude who I don't know if he was like overly protective of his car specifically, but I think there was that one neighbor who didn't like the ape like jumping on his car and stuff like that. But
I feel like when I think of a character who is overprotective about their car, I think of Sinbad in Good Burger.
Sure, yeah, or if I would even almost see an argument for the cabbages guy in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah,
right?
his car being his cart from which he sells
spirit,
the cabbages.
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yes. Spiritually, he is same. Robot or AI wants human body. This is more like the opposite. Humans like more metallic, please. More machine. I'd like to be more machine.
Yeah, more machine than man.
We get close, but I'm not crossing it off. I really wish there was a time when something didn't work and somebody just hit it harder like Fonzie. I wish, like, the baby's breached, and then you just thump the stomach and you hear, like, a sputtering startup noise. It's like, all right, baby's okay. Here he comes.
Flooded the engine. Yeah, I don't know if I have anything else here. No nosy neighbor, no big puddle splash. No needle drop of the time period, no treasure map or magic book. They don't go to another planet. Do you have anything else?
Nope.
Not cut in half by a laser. Okay, well, I think that is about it then for our bingo update. Inching ever closer to some more bingos. But yeah, now we can get to recommendations. So Melissa, what would you recommend to people who enjoyed this?
First off, I'd like to say that our episode of Titane comes in a long series since we have also covered Titan AE, Titans, and Titanic.
There you go. Yeah.
On episodes 63, 68, and 222, respectively. If you want to do the whole Titan series on our podcast, these are the 4 episodes.
Yeah, if you too want to do the Battle of the Titans, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about Clash of the Titans. We'll get them all in there. Well, remember the Titans? We've done that one too.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. We've done Teen Titans Volume 1, right? Or the TV
Titans.
show.
I mentioned that one.
Okay,
Titans,
yeah.
the live action
Yeah.
show about adult Teen Titans. Adult Titans, they almost called it. Not as much punch. I, of course, recommend the John Carpenter film Christine, based off the novel by Stephen King about a sentient car
Sure.
and the boy who is kind of in a relationship with his sentient car. I've never actually seen it. I've seen clips. I know a lot about it. I have not put the entire film in front of my eyes, and I ought to correct that this year. There is a movie called Lamb. This was a very small A24 horror film, I think also from 2021. And it's about this couple who lives on this little farm in like Scandinavia somewhere, rural Scandinavia. And they find a weird human baby lamb hybrid out in their barn.
Mm-hmm.
And this childless couple adopts this weird little lamb baby. And it's just a small, haunting, ominous drama about their lives. And you know something bad is going to happen, lamb baby.
Sure, yeah.
And it's a big surprise when it does. And also a big surprise when you finally see in full the lamb baby at the end of the movie. Because you see little glimpses of it. You see little bits of it. You'll see like a little human hand and then also like a little hoof. And you don't get the full picture of the thing until right at the end.
I gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Kind of a strange, quiet, underwhelming little film, but an odd one. I'm happy I at least watched it to learn what the heck is this thing and how does the whole thing go.
Okay.
This movie also really reminded me of Under the Skin. This is a horror film from Jonathan Glazer starring Scarlett Johansson as this alien who comes to Earth and takes the form of international hottie Scarlett Johansson and drives this big van around England. Just drives around the United Kingdom, making polite small chat with guys who will hop in the truck and catch a ride from beautiful Scarlett Johansson. And then she will like take them to some sort of weird black void where they get subsumed and abstractly eaten.
Okay.
And it's an incredible performance where she's so sweet and so charming when she's around these men. And as the second she's alone, she just like drops it, just flattens out. She's like a non-being. She has no emotions, nothing.
I remember you telling me about that one on the Captain's Log not too long ago.
There's truly eerie instances of body horror in this film, and a similar plot where this woman in a unique condition, I guess we could say, has to like go on the run and has this man sort of adopt her into his life.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens to that situation. I really recommend Under the Skin. It's maybe not the closest match to this, but boy, is that a weird, memorable film.
Yeah.
And I watched Titane with just like my jaw dropped the entire time. Like I said, the initial premise is so strange, but I knew that going in, and I was shocked at just every other way that
How
the
much
movie
it can still
spent its
surprise
time.
you. Yeah.
Right. And the closest comp for that is when I watched the movie Good Time. This is, if it's not their first film, it's at least the film that Josh and Benny Safdie made immediately before they made Uncut Gems. It's got similar chaotic energy to Uncut Gems. It's about Robert Pattinson doing a bunch of weird small crimes, big and small crimes, and trying to reunite with his brother. And just another story where it's like, this is what's happening now. This is how that character decides to try and get out of the situation they're in. And this is the obstacle that's presented before them that they have to navigate around. Just like every 10 minutes, you're like, how did we get here? What can possibly happen next?
Good stuff.
Check out those films, please.
Yeah, I got a couple for us to do. Let's see. First one, it yeah, I thought something like this movie was going to lead to a car being born, but if you want to
Yeah.
see a movie about a sentient tire, go check out Rubber.
Yeah!
Um,
Rubber!
Also kind of a horror slasher film, but it's just a sentient tire. So it is also ridiculous. We
Very
covered
weird,
that
very funny.
here on the show way back on episode 75. But that one is still one that kind of sticks in my head of like, I had a great time watching that one. It's
There's
wild.
nothing else like Rubber.
Yeah, there really is not. Something that we covered a little more recently, I think earlier this year, was Under the Silver Lake. I think if you liked this, you might like Under the Silver Lake just because of how much you're not gonna guess about what happens next.
That's true. Yes.
Right? It's constantly it constantly feels like it's changing or doing something new. Though Under the Silver Lake is very much a crime noir, like a modern day crime noir. Andrew Garfield has a fantastic performance in that one, but it's also just bizarre. It's strange.
Yes.
There's a lot you can read
Mhm.
between the lines, just like
Yeah.
this movie. So yeah, I would say go check that out. I don't know other car stuff. Like I mean, there's all kinds of sentient car stuff
Cars.
you can
Cars
do. Yeah,
2.
Cars,
Cars 3.
the Fast and the Furious, the Fast and the Furious 2, Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. You just name the entire. um, yeah, I mean, like you could even go all the way back to like Knight Rider with sentient
Yeah.
car stuff, but
Yes.
this is not about sentient
My mother, the car.
stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Oh, here's something. Here's a bizarre one. Over on the Pilots Club, we got to watch the pilot episode of Heat Vision and Jack. In which Jack Black and his former college roommate, played by Owen Wilson, who gets hit by a ray and morphed into a motorcycle, go on adventures together. He has superpowers when he gets baked by the sun, when he gets real high. Yeah, there's some scenes about the motorcycle trying to pick up women at a bar. There's just some weird stuff happening. It's half an hour. It's a great time. Go check it out. Go watch Heat Vision and Jack. That'd be a
Good
good
recommendation.
one too. Yeah, good fun stuff. Indeed. Cool. I think that is about it for recommendations. Melissa, next up on our French movie month. Talk.
Yes. Next time, 2 weeks from now, we're going to be watching a much more classic and traditional French film. We're going to be watching The Umbrellas of Cherbourg. This is a movie musical from 1964. You can find this, I believe, in the TCM collection on Max.
Okay. Cool.
It is only an hour and a half long, another real snappy viewing. All I know about this movie is that this is a very brightly colored, sort of dreamy, entirely sung through like classic movie music.
Cool.
And I picked this because it was one of the films Greta Gerwig listed as an inspiration for Barbie. I thought it would be nice a year later to look back on one of the films that inspired that very memorable filmic language. And I was hoping to watch something that might have big enough presence in French culture that we could see an echo of it in the Paris Olympics opening ceremony.
Yeah, which opening ceremony I believe is happening on what, the 26th? July 26th this year?
Yes, Friday, July 26th, which you can see live streamed in select AMC theaters. Go watch that ceremony on the big screen. It should be exciting.
There you go. Good stuff. Yeah, got the Olympics starting up real soon here, so that's why we wanted to dive into these French films. Get some opposite extremes, right?
Yes, very different. Although I am Googling the umbrellas of Cherbourg, and that character also gets pregnant. So that's like the one thing they have in common. Dancing and pregnant.
I see. Interesting. Cool. Well, yeah, that is what we will be up to next episode. So be on the lookout for that in a couple weeks here. But that also about wraps us up for this week. So, Melissa, where can the people get in touch with you on the interwebs?
You can get in touch with me the old-fashioned way by writing me an email. Not everybody does social media or does the same social medias anymore, but we all have an email. You can write me a little note at yourhostmelissa@gmail.com.
Perfect. Yeah, if you guys, I don't know if that was the right thing. I don't know if it'll actually do the end thing like I was hoping for it to. You guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer. I'm gonna stay up to date with everything we do here at the Whatnauts. We are at the Whatnauts official on Threads. Go like, share, subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Got plenty more videos for you to check out right over here. Yeah, that is just about it. This was number 297 of the Whatnauts review show. We will see you all next time. Bye.
Honk honk, beep beep.
Squirting out the tailpipe, what did I see? A little baby truck that looks sorta like me.
It was a full-size truck covered in human skin. It started screaming in a human voice. It said, please kill me, I'm constantly in pain. Why do I exist, please, in my life? I said, no, you're my son, and I'm proud to be the father to this human skin truck, baby. Human skin truck, baby. Human skin truck, baby. Skin truck, human skin truck, baby.